Welcome to the Brilliantly British channel. My name is Lawrence and today we're going to show you how to make a Plymouth Panstack. If you've never heard of it, that'll come as no surprise to us. So please sit back, relax with a cup of tea in hand, putting those feet of yours up to, and please enjoy this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. The Greeks have moussaka, the Italians have lasagne. And today you'll discover Britain's multi-tiered dish in the form of this plate of food. This is a Plymouth Panstack, a rich vegetable and tuna-tomato sauce paired with a rich cheese sauce sandwiched between layers of fluffy yeasted pancakes topped with a crunchy grated topping. Step by step, we'll walk you through this dish's preparation before crowning things off with a session of tasting at the end. So now, without much further ado, please allow me to introduce the ingredients to you. For today's Brilliantly British Plymouth Panstack, you will need some aubergine, some courgettes, some eggs, some butter, some full-fat milk, some diced onions, some bay leaves, some carrots, some celery, some Marmite, some tomato paste, some canned or fresh tomatoes, some plain white flour, some fresh or dry yeast, some tuna. You can go for either fresh or canned. You will need some garlic as well, some parsley, some wine, and a good quality yellow hard cheese. You can go for a cheddar, double Gloucester, red Leicester, etc, etc, etc. Not forgetting, of course, to round all of this off, you will of course need a little pinch or two of salt and pepper to avoid the occurrence of bland food. And that, my friends, is all you will need for today's Plymouth Panstack. But before you get started, before you do anything at all, please switch on your kettle, brew yourselves a nice cup of hot tea so that you can sip on that whilst you cook. To begin preparing a Plymouth Panstack, in a pan over a medium-high heat, turn in butter, bay leaves, onion, celery, carrots, tomato paste, Marmite, and a sprinkle of salt without forgetting a needed splash of wine before leaving the contents to simmer under a lid until little to no liquid remains. At which point, turn in diced aubergine and courgettes, followed by another sprinkling of salt before covering once more to cook for at least 15 minutes. Then, with the vegetables cooked and tender, turn in your tomatoes, taking the time thereafter to crush as you incorporate them before covering with a lid and leaving to simmer, reduce and intensify in flavour for 30 to 40 minutes over a medium-low heat. 30 to 40 minutes later, with the sauce noticeably thicker, darker and more aromatic, add your tuna, followed by fresh garlic, a moment which I spent crushing the tuna as it cooked out of preference before covering and leaving to cook for a further 10 minutes, after which fresh parsley and black pepper should be added as you turn off your source of heat and smile as you set your Panstack filling momentarily to one side. With the sauce made, and after breaking my eggs, into a bowl will go plain white flour, salt, black pepper and butter, ingredients which were combined with my fingertips to form a sand-like mixture. An egg yolk was then added and incorporated along with a few tablespoons of milk before kneading gently to form a soft, cohesive dough. A dough which should then be frozen in preparation for later on. Now, for the pancake batter, with your milk being no hotter than body temperature, combine with molten butter, salt, your eggs, your yeast, and some optional additions of sugar to get the yeast going, before finally adding your flour with a whisk to form a silky smooth batter, which should be set in a warm, draft-free environment in order to allow the batter to proof. And of course, it goes without saying that as you wait, your time should be spent rehydrating and relaxing with some brilliantly British content in hand, helping us out by liking and subscribing. Thank you. After a welcomed break, while still waiting for the batter to prove, to prepare the cheese sauce, begin by warming milk in a saucepan while in parallel melting butter, with which flour should be mixed, and then with the milk just beginning to steam, incrementally combine with the contents of your pan over a medium-low heat, which once fully combined should be stirred as it cooks and comes up to a gentle boil. As soon as bubbles begin to force their way through the sauce, lower the source of heat and stir in your grated cheese until you obtain a homogeneous mixture, which, if necessary, should be seasoned with salt and or pepper before transferring to a bowl to cool, ready for later on. With the batter now ready and with it transferred to a jug, before continuing, given that for this recipe a rectangular baking dish will be used, a rectangular cast iron pan will be used to cook and shape the pancake layers, the link of which will be in the description of this episode, so you needn't worry. To cook the pancakes, with the pan heated over a medium-low heat, pour in just enough to cover the pan, leaving the batter to cook slowly as it won't be flipped, but once cooked, roll the pancake up, position it at the end of the pan closest to you before repeating the aforementioned steps by coating the bare areas of the pan with fresh batter. The process of slow cooking, rolling, positioning and pouring should be repeated consistently until all of the batter has been consumed, at which point you should end up with a hot, light and spongy pancake roll which should be covered to prevent it from drying as you prepare for the following steps. To prepare our pancake sheets, roll out a portion of the pancake roll, roughly measure using your baking dish, and then after having greased your dish, begin layering with an initial pancake sheet coated with your cheese sauce, followed by a layer of your tuna-tomato sauce, repeating thereafter until all pancake sheets have been consumed, at which point coat the final sheet with your cheese sauce, recall your frozen dough, which should be quickly grated, and then dusted atop the assembled pancake before setting in your oven to bake perfectly. Once out of the oven, the Panstack should be left to rest for at least 15 minutes before serving, in order for the dish to develop some structural integrity before serving. So now, with a fresh Plymouth Panstack made and your interest peaking, I think it's high time for tasting, tasting, tasting. Are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. They're so good. They're so hot. God. Oh my God. Wow. Galactic. This is amazing. Once I was able to overcome the pain that was coming from experiencing the heat, because this still is piping hot, then comes the flavor, which it's like no other. I'm trying to compare it to what I'm already familiar with. I've had several moussakas in my life, several lasagnas, and this of course is Britain's answer to those dishes, and it's related, but it's different in the best way possible. The pancake is of course the most notable difference, and it just is so delicate. You see there's a slight wobble to it. Beautiful, beautiful. It shows no resistance to my fork, goes straight through, and then once it comes in contact with your tongue, the multifaceted components of this dish come into play. The white sauce, the cheesy white sauce, really stands out in the best way possible. It's not overpowering, but it does add a lovely twang to the dish and a somewhat creamy note to it. The tuna in the tomato sauce, if you've never had a tuna based tomato sauce before, you ought to try this. It is a marriage made in heaven. It's beautiful, working in tandem with the cheese. And then you've got this lovely crust on top, which just adds texture, much needed texture, a crunch in particular. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's a fantastic way to celebrate Shrove Tuesday or any day of the week, to be honest. It's amazing. So look, with all of that being said, passionately, I'm telling you, I implore you, please go out, get the ingredients, because this dish is going to be worth it. Please, please, please make this dish, please. Thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make a Plymouth Panstack. Knowing that you loved this episode, please don't forget to click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button too, so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Tell everyone, and I mean everyone, that you know about the brilliantly British food on this channel, and follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on, and I will see you